All right, let's do it. Another season, 2014, 2015. I'm down for it. I do want to double check though. Shout out to David Jones, Rick Nash, and Ryan O'Reilly was assigned the letter. What a guy. Imagine Ryan O'Reilly being a future captain or something. That just seems weird, doesn't it? How unlikely is that? But no, I'm excited, man, to see what this team can do. There is a very good chance we could end up right back in a playoff scenario this season. There's also a good chance that because our team is better, that we could magically be worse because it is an EA Sports game after all. There's typically no in between on that front. So do what we can, right? Do what we can. All right. Boys, you might actually have some hope, some optimism. Yeah, if I traded Ryan O'Reilly for Jay McClement, I think they would fire me out of the cannon. Obviously not going to trade Rick Nash for James Reimer. Andre Padan for Ben Bishop. Bishop is 27 years old at this point and 81 overall. I'm going to say no to that. I'm all right with Martin Jones being the backup. Another trade offer for Matt Carl. My God. 27-year-old Matt Carl. It's up to a 79. He's not going to get too much better. We'll say no to that as well. Again, now that we know that every single one of these prospects that we're getting trade offers for are actually solid and worth keeping, it makes... Wow, Nino Niederreiter missed a day due to a concussion. Neat. Browsing through the files for RHL 11, a mod for 09. Found the 2010-11 portraits, so then 17-year-old Kucherov and 19-year-old Panarin. I am aware of that mod. I have been tempted in the past. NHL 9 was like kind of the last game with that modding community. Third round pick for Pickard and Peters. I don't want goalies. Leave me alone. I should probably go put that as part of the trade block. Leave me alone. Yeah, everyone's just offering me goalies right now. Let's actually set up the trade block for what I would prefer. I am actually going to take these guys off the block. Draft picks, no interest. Always happens. Every time. At this point, offer me prime-aged or veteran players. Don't offer me goaltenders. I'm not willing to give up a first. You know what? Screw it. I'll give up any pick you want at this stage. I probably want defense more than offense at this stage, though. Surplus of athleticism. Not really willing to give up goaltenders. Set it up like that. AR, indeed. We've been on 12 for a couple of days now. With 24 being as bad as it is, now is the best time to go back through some of the classics. And some of the not classics, because we will eventually get to NHL 15 next gen. Pretty much made up my mind on that front that we will end up probably playing the next gen version of 15. So it'll be fun because of how bad it's going to be. That's the point. That is the point. It's not fun to play. Why no interest in draft picks? For whatever reason, it just keeps setting it up as no interest in draft picks. Even if I set the block to something else, that's the only setting that it's like auto-correcting for me. And it's very, very annoying. I don't know why it's doing it, but it is. But yeah, like the 360/PS3 version of like NHL 15 and then Legacy, I'm like, where's the fun in that? You know? Where's the fun in that? So maybe we do have too many picks, to be honest. That's why I was trying to move out other ones. I don't know what the limit might be. I don't feel like we have that many at this point. But let's see. Rick Nash leading the team in points. We have a 12-5-1 record towards the beginning of November. Not bad. Nashville at 12-2-2. Jesus, Nashville continues to be an absolute force. As Tom McCollum is on waivers, we will say no to that. And you notice now we have just gotten no offers whatsoever. Andrei Loktionov gets hurt. And the good thing is we have some depth. So I'm happy about that. Calvin Hahn's back. I was hoping we get some offers to try and improve the defense, but so far, not so good. Never liked the drafting system. It is pretty simplistic, and it does rely heavily on you upgrading that amateur scout as quick as you can. I gotta be honest, though, I do prefer the one bar of just, hey, here's how good your amateur scout is, instead of the current system of like, all right, I gotta sign 20 dudes at all times. Which can be tedious, obviously, in NHL, especially when you can't quickly scroll to look for people, right? Yeah. That's a very annoying aspect of those games. Calvin DeHaan and Maxim Mayorov for Brian Lee and Zach Smith. We have to at least talk about this one. So DeHaan is 81 overall at 23 years old. Again, is an OFD. His defense won't get much better. The other key aspects will. Brian Lee is 27 years old and an 81 overall. More of a two-way. So that's not necessarily ideal. Mayorov's 25, Smith is 26. Mayorov is an 80 overall playmaker. Not an amazing playmaker. He's a good skater. Zach Smith is an 82 overall grinder. So we don't have too much grit on our team. Smith would help in that regard. He's a slight upgrade on Mayorov. So it's sacrifice DeHaan because he's got that somewhat more promising future for a defenseman who's a little bit older, 4 years older, actually. That's a tough call. I mean, it does give us player types that we are in need of, but we have to sacrifice Calvin DeHaan and whatever he might be in the future. I got to be honest, though, I think I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. That's the type of trade I was talking about, where once it comes up, all of a sudden, we can pull the trigger to try to fill certain needs for the team. That fits the bill pretty well. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So let's see. It's running Smith as our third line center with Caron and Couturier. That'd actually be a pretty damn good line. It's running Lee on the top line. He's only our second two-way forward outside of Patrick Wirkoch. So, we have a good record. We don't have an absolutely insane record. And I can't imagine losing Calvin DeHaan and Maxim Mayorov will automatically make this team significantly worse. Although, hey, maybe it will. Because an EA sports game. Although we did beat St. Louis 7-3. Not bad. Still winning games. Still winning games. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Goodness. By the way, I saw the footage again on Twitter a second ago. The Alex Gallant, Jeff Viel fight in the AHL. Jesus Christ. Jake, what's going on, by the way? I've said it before. I'm someone who would not shed a tear if fighting was banned, even though it's like, hey, I grew up as a Bruins fan, where it's like, what's your legacy? Bobby Orr diving through the air and punching people in the face. And also having a player go up in the stands and hit a man with his own shoe. But at the same time, like the safety, I'd understand. At the same time, a whopper fight like that happens and my monkey brain just goes, yes. Yes. More of that. Just two big, meaty men throwing fists, bumping meat. More of those fights, please. You got Ryan Reeves and Arbor Jacki squabbling. We can't call that a fight. It's a squabble. Hopefully they actually fucking throw hands later this season. Yeah. Dude, our team is killing it right now, by the way. Holy shit. 25, 11, and 4. Whew. Not bad. Not bad. Morgan Riley gets hurt in the AHL. What's Milbury more famous for, the shoe or Milbury? I'd probably say if you had to ask, he honestly might be more famous for being on the NBC panels. Keep fighting, but treat it like a red card. I wouldn't mind that either. I just don't like the idea of young kids, and obviously like the QMJHL is taking steps for it. We saw too many young people just be like, well, my only way to get to the NHL is to fucking destroy my brain. I'd like those days to be over, aside from the inherent risks of the sport. You know? Less guys who are willing to sacrifice their health because they're young and don't understand the concept of future. You know? But like I said, at the same time, a fight like that, I'm just like, yes, monkey brain. But yeah, once it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of different things they can do about it. There's a lot of different things. For the Milbury thing, I feel like if you had to ask most hockey fans, he's probably more famous for the shoe, right? As opposed to being a bad GM or a bad analyst. It's a toss-up. Toss-up, though. 22 goals for Rick Nash, maybe. Ooh, boy, that is like most of my defense. That is like most of my defense, Ottawa. David Savard, John Moore, Nick Leddy, and Stuart Percy for Ron Hainsey and Matt Hunwick. Jesus. Savard's 24, 81 overall. John Moore is 24, 80 overall. Nick Leddy is 23, 81 overall. And Stuart Percy is 21, 74 overall. A- offensive potential. Holy shit. Ron Hainsey better be like an 88. He's an 83. You're out of your fucking skulls. He's not that much better. And Matt Helmich, that's an awful, awful trade offer. Get the hell out of here. Ottawa tried to fleece me. Ottawa tried to fleece me. I ain't falling for that shit. Like, legitimately tried to fleece me. That was a garbage trade offer. I can't get over how bad that offer is. Hainsey has NHLPA value. Fair, Duwinkle. Fair. That's a good point. Let's keep it going here. Right now, we're just riding the wave and seeing where this team can go. You know, I might be a bit more active at the deadline, but still being limited to one phone is worrisome. Worrisome. Serapchel. I mean, BK, there are issues, right? There are issues with the games. They're not perfect, but nostalgia can carry you a long way, and that is a luxury that the modern games do not have yet. Eventually, people will be nostalgic for NHL 21. We're not there yet, though. We're not there yet, but it'll happen. It happens with everything. You know, and that's something you realize as you get a little bit older. I don't know how old you are, but as you get older, it's one of those things where you're just like, every era is back in my day. Every generation is back in my day. Because in those formative years or as a kid, it's less about the quality of whatever it is and more about just you're a kid, you're really into this, and it instills itself as a core memory. It doesn't matter if it's TV shows, if it's music, if it's movies, video games, a fucking amusement park, like whatever. nostalgia goes a real long way. It's why every year when people are like, man, the NHL games are so trash compared to these, it's like, well, you're not entirely right. You know, I would say, if you ask me, yes, I'd rather play this than the more modern NHLs. But a good part of that is the nostalgia. 100% is. But even back then, 12, 13, 14, I was someone where it's like, yes, these games are good, but I'm also someone who does not view these as like the greatest of all time. You know, I'd still have like NHL 04. But at the same time, how old was I when NHL 04 came out? I was 9 and 10 years old. Core memory. Of course, I'm going to be more biased to the games that I played as opposed to when I was 18, 19, 20 years old. That's just how it works, which I was when these games came out. So, you know, I still play NHL 02. NHL 02 is a lot of fun. Although NHL 02 was the weird one in terms of, was it 02 or 03? I think it was 02. Graphically, they tried to do something with the lighting that just doesn't look good, especially like even compared to 01, especially than 04. They made some design choices back in the day that they were going for it. I appreciated it. Yeah, see, it always switches my draft picks back to no interest for whatever reason. I am going to put it back to all picks at this stage. And we're going to see what kind of offers we get here. Because I am going to be willing to move certain players. I feel like we're the same age. I am a 94 birthday, so talked about that. No secret or anything. For a while, it was like, how old is he? What's his last name? All that shit's out there now. Yeah, it's out there now. I don't give a shit. So, 96. Yeah, so I mean, you're definitely in that spot where, you know, that set of like bracketed years where, yeah, you and I would have consumed a lot of the same content and stuff like that. I mean, really, that goes. I mean, I'm 29 now, so I would say that goes for people who are, what'd you say, like between 90 and 98? You know, about a 7-8 year gap, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less in regards to that age group that would have experienced the same type of media with some slight differences from the beginning and end. You know, I feel old now. Talking about this stuff is always fun, but yes, it'll always make you feel old as shit. You know, it is what it is. And yeah, I'm not claiming I'm old as shit as 29. I am for freaking internet purposes, but all right. In terms of trades, man, Nino Niederreiter's value keeps going up. It's crazy. We got Rick Nash making $9 million and we still have $11 million in space. Being 30, I get to experience 5 different systems. That's fair. That is fair. Like, I was really, really lucky. You know, I've talked about this too. Fuck it. Hey, story time. Whatever. It's late. Who gives a shit? Power. What's going on? We'll get to this deadline. There's no timer, so it's fine. You know, I have 4 step siblings. We all have the same mom. And I'm 4.5 years younger than my brother. So there were already kids in the house. So there were already like game consoles and stuff like that. So I was really fortunate that I got to experience, like, my dad, before he got sick. He's fine, kind of. My dad was making really good money, really fucking hard worker, and did whatever he could to keep his kids happy, even his stepkids. He treated them just like me. So I got to experience the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the N64, the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2. It wasn't until the Xbox 360 era, right around that time, if a little bit before that, that my dad's ability to work kind of got hit a little bit. So money wasn't as good. And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, cool, he can't do as much. That led into, remember how I always talk about trading in game consoles to get the new one? That's why. And then having to buy all the old shit again? That's why. But yeah, I was very, very lucky to get to experience game console after game console and to have that experience of the graphic changes, because I really do wonder now for teenagers, like, what has it been like growing up with these era of games? Because for somebody my age or older, you have seen it go from Super Nintendo graphics to PlayStation graphics to PS2, and now look at what NHL 24 looks like. People will say it looks like shit. It doesn't. Look at what video games look like now. But if you grew up with like an Xbox 360, or even, God forbid, they're young enough to be like, yeah, PS4 or an Xbox One was my first console. How good do graphics have to get before they can actually be like, oh yeah, I really see the difference? It's crazy how good graphics are now. Like generation to generation for people my age or older, it was like, oh yeah, no, we see it with every console generation. There's not that drastic of a difference between this game on the 360 and what we're playing now. I play a game like 2K10 and people are like, holy shit, this game looks so good. And that game came out in 2009. And already we're just like, hey, in some ways this game looks better than the one that came out now. So imagine, again, if this is like the only generation of consoles you've ever known, what the fuck do game developers have to do to make these games actually look improved? That's a scary thing. Whereas before, you could go from the PS1 era and Lara Croft's triangular boobage, and now you look at GTA 5, like, goddamn. You know? Anyway, hi. Fun conversation. We have fun here. What the hell am I going to do with this trade deadline? The hell am I going to do? We should be fine in goal. I wouldn't mind improving the defense, but I don't really know how to do that outside of using our first round pick. Toby Reeder, Stefan Nason. Bauer, we probably are going to bring it back. We started to do it over the summer, and then we took like a night off, and I started up the Nashville franchise, and Twitch fucking loved it. So that's the reason why that hasn't been uploaded or anything. It's because we stopped it. We have talked about bringing it back, especially if 24 stays in a rough spot. Probably increase the FPS for people using it. Yeah, Canuck, that's, or Canuckles, I should say. That's a really good point, right? It might not so much be... It's going to be more, well, it's always hardware based. But yeah, it probably is going to be the idea of, the graphics cards increasing, the fidelity of the monitors increasing, tick rates, frame rates. I mean, but again, it's like at this point, you're never really going to have that gigantic leap again from like PS1 to PS2. I don't know if that's possible. If it is, then holy shit, imagine what the games are going to look like. When some games like, God of War and stuff like that already look unbelievable. Yeah. Stefan Nason. His skating isn't going to get better. His defense is going to get better. His offense is probably going to be pretty mid. He's a 74 at 22 years old. That is true. We're not even in the age yet where 60 FPS is the standard, which is shocking. Toby Reeder. When the Rock's elbow pad came off in a game for the first time. I have the memory, man. Growing up, playing frickin' WrestleMania on the original Nintendo, and then like WWF Warzone, and then you get into the N64 games. Holy shit. Toby Reeder and Stefan Nason are probably expendable. If we could get another really good right wing to push David Jones into the bottom six, I think this is the first year we can kind of look at going for it. There's Bobby Ryan and Corey Perry, both of whom are on expiring contracts. Nathan Horton. Pominville. What else do we got on the right? Jerome McGinley, 37 years old. Ooh, Jeff Skinner, 22 years old, has a brand new contract. Shout out to Dr. Huge Asshole. Thank you for the follow, Hugh. We love you. How many people don't say the name? Because I don't give a shit. Also, congrats on becoming a doctor. I'm impressed. God, we really could go for Jeff Skinner. So far, Jeff Skinner is my favorite kind of target here. There's Kane and Hossa. Peter Mueller, no thanks. Landeskog, 80 over. Ooh. Landeskog could be a good investment in the future. Landeskog would be an upgrade on both of those other two. But like I said, I think we can really kind of swing for the fences here. I think we can. Edmonton has Eberle and Hemsky. We used Eberle last time. They better be a proctologist. They better be. Dalton Seawalk, he's only 74. So right now it's Skinner or Landeskog. Brown and Williams. Minnesota has the Goocher. Surprisingly, I'm a dentist. Fair. Fair. We could go for Setaguchi. Skinner, Landeskog, Setaguchi. I'm going to have to start keeping a short list here. Skinner, Landeskog, or the Goocher. What do we got in Montreal? Nobody good enough. Nashville. Nobody good enough. Well done, big boy. Davey Clarkman, the Islanders. Rangers with Marian Gaborik. Gaborik would be pretty nice, too. Just another really dynamic scoring threat. But I'm thinking with Skinner or Landeskog as opposed to Setaguchi or Gaborik, that would also set us up for the future a bit. Same as like a Voracek, a Simmons. I'm still leaning towards Skinner or Landeskog. I think right now Skinner is the top target, and if we can't land him, then we go after Landeskog. That's what it's looking like. Just to try to future-proof a little bit. Yeah. Because Winnipeg. Brian Little. Oh, Martin Ferk. Oh, I screwed up so bad not getting Martin Ferk. At least Yakupov's in the NHL already, though. But, man, having Martin Ferk, too, would have been great. There you go. You play NHL 12, get Martin Ferk. So, Jeff Skinner. It's Tobias Reeder. Stefan Nason. Oh, God. I don't know if I can land Skinner here. Our first round pick isn't worth shit. That's just not going to happen. Skinner's out of our reach. Let's head to Colorado then. And try to get that upgrade on right wing. And it'll be Gabriel Landeskog that we target. This deal is not currently approved. But these two together and then get a low pick back should be a good way to do it. I am going to have to take somebody else back. Do they have another right wing on an expiring deal? They do. Is that Ashton Rome? It is Ashton Rome. Let me add in all of our lower 7th round picks. Looking at the value, that's about even. Can I get a third? They don't want to move Landeskog. Son of a bitch. I am going to try again. Detroit's calling, though. Only having one phone is brutal. Broussard and Monahan for Filppula. Dude, Detroit, piss off. I am so sick of Detroit. All right, literally, I don't even need picks back. I just want Landeskog. Reeder, Nason, and those 7ths. I just want Landeskog. They're not going to do it. Oh, goodness. That sucks. Colorado's calling. More Leddy and Weirkoch for McClement, Wilson, and Ryan O'Byrne. That's a lot of young defense. How good's Ryan Wilson? Only an 83. How good's Ryan O'Byrne? An 82. And then Jay McClement is also... Man, that shores things up quite a bit, though. Weirkoch is a 79. Leddy is an 81. John Moore is also an 81. Yeah. I got to be honest, I think I'm taking it. It's leveraging a bit of the future, but we get better now. And we can really go for it this year. I'm going to do it. Moore, Letty, and Weirkoch for Jay McClement, Ryan Wilson, and Ryan O'Byrne. I will actually take that offer, especially knowing we're having trouble finding what else we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tenorti gets the call up, and then Savard will be in. So our defense is definitely better. Forwards 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So Brad Ross can be sent down. So now we have Couturier, O'Reilly, Nash. So O'Reilly's replaced Brassard on the top line. He's with Jones and Niederreiter. Smith, McClement, Caron. That's a really good gritty line. And then Ryan Johansson, Lochtianoff, and Oscar Mahler. Defense, O'Byrne and Wilson. Rundblad and Lee, Tenorti and Vatanen. Obviously, we have an injury there. And then Steve Mason is still in goal. And apparently Glover might not have been the starter this year. That would suck. Okay, we got 2 hours left. Ottawa is calling. I'm not trading Neil Yakupov. No way. No way. So Colorado, I'm willing to really go over the edge here to land Landeskog. Reader, Stefan Nason. We got to add Ashton Rome to even it out. I'm willing to do what I have to do to get this deal to go through. And we will go 2 sevenths and a second. There it goes. So we overpay a little bit technically, but we do land Gabriel Landeskog, which I think is a lovely boost to this team. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 with Niederreiter. And technically, you could argue that makes us a little bit too good in some ways. It does give us a lot of depth, and it does put Landeskog on the third line, which is good. Although, actually, I'll swap him with Jones. Okay. Honestly, I don't mind that. You could argue, though, one extra trade involving forwards, but Reeder and Nason were potentially going to make it. Landeskog's NHL ready. Colorado's calling again. Get the fuck out of here. I think I'm going to give you Nail Yakupov after that. Piss off. So, Nash, Jones, Landeskog. Caron is a fourth liner. Niederreiter, Yakupov, Couturier. Ross is NHL caliber. Centers, Brassard, Riley, McClement, Mahler, Lochtianoff. Oh my god. All right, so that's where the problem sneaks in, is at center. And honestly, we have Smith and McClement as the grittier options. Brassard and Riley. I'm just wondering if we can pair people together to make like a really big improvement. You know? Like, I like O'Reilly. I like Brassard. But given this is our last possible trade we could make, I do wonder if there's a blockbuster to be had here. Think about streaming on YouTube. I mean, I have thought about it, and it would probably do pretty well for me. But it's a tough situation to be like, yeah, I'm going to leave Twitch or not focus on Twitch. Just because I have put a lot of freaking time and effort to have the platform that I have, you know? And at the same time, too, I wouldn't want to do like a stream on YouTube on these days and Twitch on that, because I just feel like that's confusing. Although, you know, if YouTube had been more of an ideal destination like it is now back when I started, I don't know if I ever would have started on Twitch. It probably just would have been easier to keep everything in-house on one platform. Man, if we could land Tyler Seguin. If we could land Tyler Seguin. That is the type of home run swing I'm thinking about here. How good's Tyler Ennis? 85 overall. He's not too much of an improvement on O'Reilly. Calgary, Jeff Carter. We don't need him back. Carolina, Zach Dalpe. That being pretty good. Is Kick dead yet? No, but I look forward to dancing on the grave of that platform, although let's be honest, the damage is already done. The damage is already done, and the fucking scumbags behind it have already made millions, so who gives a shit? Who gives a shit at this point? Not lying. I mean, hey, who knows? You never know. A jump could happen at any time, depending on certain policies. Holy shit, Matt Duchene would be a great pickup. Is YouTube bad at notifying people when you're live? I mean, Twitch does that sometimes, too. So, man, Sagan, Matt Duchene. Duchene was an 89 overall and was less difficult to get. Gagne or Nuge? How good's Nuge? Would the older 2Ks work on our PS for the PS2 days? The PS2, I mean, yes. So the reason why I play 2K10 on the emulator is so that my friends can play with me. I have physical copies of all the games. So if it was a solo thing, I could just play them all, on console, like I'm doing with NHL 12 right now. So would be old. I hold this up as if is it that easy to tell it's a 360 controller as opposed to a modern controller? Probably is. Probably is. Anyway, you get the point. Kopitar. Dude, I feel like it has to be Duchene, right? Right now, it has to be Matt Duchene. John Tavares. Did a fan look-alike thing on the TV. When they did the Elon one, I made sure to boo. I'm proud of you. Well done. It's the only streamer I'd watch on YouTube. Yeah, I was gonna say it's just a tough thing. It's so weird to think Derek Stepan retired, by the way. It's tough. I will say it's good that there's options, right? I mean, Kick can go fuck itself, but it's good that YouTube is a really solid option for the streaming side of things. We're not landing Crosby or Malkin. Guarantee you that. Pavelski, Logan Couture. She and Berglund. What's the next non-sports title you want to play? Oh, God. I'm behind, man. I never got a chance to finish, like, Gotham Knights. I haven't got to play freaking Jedi Survivor yet. There's a lot. I'm so far behind on story-based games. It's tough. But the problem is, at the same time, it's different streaming those type of games, you know? The Harry Potter game I had no interest in. That's just not my jam. Boston. So Sagan, probably unlikely to get, given his value, which goes up to like an E. Duchene goes up to an L. Tavares is up to the U. And then Nazem Kadri also goes up to about the L or the U. Kadri's an 85. So it's Sagan, Tavares, or Duchene. And we only have one shot. What was the Madden that had the quarterback vision gimmick? It was 06. It was 06 with McNabb on the cover. Because the PS2 version was great, but the next-gen versions were pretty rough. Tavares is an 89 and still improving. Duchene is an 89 and still improving, but not quite as much. And then Tyler Sagan is an 87 and still improving quite a bit. Fuck. I mean, based on the values involved in the deal I'm thinking of trying to pull off. I mean, Brassard's only an 84. O'Reilly is also an 84. I think if we were to use Brassard in the deal, it's much more likely to go through. I feel like it's got to be Duchene. I feel like it has to be. I was 16 in Initial Lord when this game came out. I was right there with you. Shout out to Mishki, by the way, for the bets. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. How much y'all burn out? I mean, you don't see me streaming 24 right now either, do you? So, I feel like Matt Duchene's going to be our target here. Derek Brassard for Matt Duchene. Again, Brassard's value is up to the V. Duchesne's is up to L. So our centers would be O'Reilly, Duchesne, McClements, and Smith. So Loktionov and Mahler are now expendable. We keep Johansson, who is making too much money to be a healthy scratch, but we can afford it. If we can move these three together to get the big improvement at center, we should. I can also take Zach Sill and Andrew Ebbett back in the deal. Is that enough? I need this deal to go through. I'm willing to overspend to do it. We are rebuilding the Columbus Blue Jackets. We've been taking the teams that have finished last in the league to rebuild. It's probably unnecessary, but a first, Mahler, Loktionov, and Derek Brassard, primarily for Matt Duchesne, and we also take back 2 depth pieces. It's a lot to give up, but it does give us the big upgrade at center and gives us a true number 1 center. We also have a lot of late picks, so we can go for that. We're going for it this year. If this goes through, I'll be very happy. We pushed it into no-brainer territory. Matt Duchesne, welcome to Columbus a little bit earlier than you arrived in real life. Matt Duchesne and Rick Nash on the top line. Fucking go. Let's take a look here. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 with Niederreiter. Beautiful. So right now, it's Couturier, because Yakupov is hurt. Couturier, Duchesne, Nash, Niederreiter, O'Reilly, Jones, Smith, McClement, Landeskog, Johansson, Ebbets, and Jordan Caron. I feel like, and again, we've changed so much about this team. I feel like this could be our year. I feel like this could be our year. It's a dangerous thing to think. But we pull off trades like that. 39 wins already. Can we make the playoffs? Can we make the playoffs? We do have a couple of injuries. Savard's out for 2 months. Yakupov's out until pretty much the start of the playoffs, so that's a bit rough. But man, having Rick Nash, Matt Duchesne together. David Rundblad's back from injury. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god. I guess it's Tenorti. Okay, it said Rundblad was back. Oh, my roster's under minimum size. I can't read. Michael. Thank you for the gifted. We'll go with Andre Padan. The legend known as Andre Padan. Oh, bad time to end up with a lot of injuries. I'll tell you that much. But we are up to 40 wins. Make it 41. Was it the right idea to go for it with our first option to do so? Time will tell. But I feel like we still have quite a few good prospects around, so, you know. Who would I put as the 25 Winter Classic? God, who the hell hasn't had an outdoor game so far? Jesus. Who the hell hasn't had an outdoor game? Arizona. Okay, God, Steve Mason got hurt, but it's not for long. Arizona and Florida. My dream Winter Classic. Arizona and Florida. Although, to be honest, right now, and I know they've had a lot of games, from a marketing standpoint, Chicago, Edmonton. Bedard versus McDavid. That would be the Winter Classic I would put on right now. From a marketing standpoint, that is the best individual game they could possibly put out there to try and get eyes on the product. Wow, we are losing games hand over fist without Steve Mason. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my God, we are losing a lot of games here. And we still have a month to go in the season, but Oilers have an outdoor game. I know, against Calgary. Oilers jerseys suck. Calgary's are okay. But man, how long are we still going to be roughed up for? Dude, we are losing games hand over fist right now. Holy hell. All right, there we go. We should be okay. What do we have? 1 game left this season? 2 games left. Are we in the playoffs? Yes, we are. Okay, barring a miracle, we're going to make it. It's not going to be with as good of a total as I thought. Oh my God. Okay, we're safe. We're safe. We've made the playoffs. Well, hopefully this team's ready to kind of live up to their full potential entering the playoffs, because we haven't quite done as well as I thought we would post-deadline. But 44 wins. Our best season to date since taking over this team. We'll play the Los Angeles Kings in the first round. We were the 9th best team in the NHL and finished in 6th in the Western Conference. Not too bad. But, I mean, yeah, the top 4 100-point teams in the West. Western Conference looks to be a bit of a death sentence right now, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Damn, man. Damn. Let's get a look at these stats for the season, shall we? Our leading scorer, Matt Duchene, actually. You had Rick Nash on 64 points. It drops off a bit from there. We did deal with a lot of injuries this season. Yak had 37 points in just 64 games due to injury. Couturier is not exactly crushing it. Maybe a little bit worried in some aspects, but I think we'll be okay. I do think we have a team that can be built to peak for the playoffs. We don't have a true number 1 defenseman, but we do have a great goalie and a solid defense, which will hopefully be enough. As Martin Jones was trash, especially compared to Steve Mason. It's the biggest part of the reason for the slide is Mason missed quite a bit of time. At the worst possible time. Ori, what's up, man? How are you? Late night, huh? All right, let's see. League-wide. Your leading scorer this season, Alexander Ovechkin, back-to-back 70-goal seasons. Insanity. Absolute insanity from Ovi. Damn. And again, just totally destroying the competition from a goal-scoring perspective. There were only 3 guys to hit 40 goals this year. Wow. For the defense, top point getter, 51 points, Dmitry Kulikov and Ryan Suter. Top goal scorer with 17, Kevin Shattenkirk. And in goal, the winningest goaltender, Jonas Hiller. 45 wins in Washington. Save percentage amongst starters, Pekka Rinne, Cam Ward. Both pretty damn good. With that, the Rookie of the Year as well could be Nail Yakupov. He led rookies in scoring despite missing 18 games. I really hope that Nail Yakupov is going to win the Calder. I really, really do. Rookie goalies. Oh, boy. Competition from Robin Lehner. Oh, dude, Lehner's winning it. 923 save percentage as a rookie. Robin Lehner's winning the Calder. No doubt. This era, again, as we've seen, loved to give goalies those type of awards. The Hart Trophy, the Calder. Loved giving them these type of awards. So yeah, we don't really have a chance here, I would say. But we are back in the playoffs. It's Los Angeles, and I'm hoping, praying even, that my decision to be aggressive, to add at the deadline, and a little bit beforehand is going to be enough to kind of push these Blue Jackets to glory so that we can move on to old NHL 13, as we will once we win a cup. But who knows how long it'll take, right?